As much as I enjoy performing what I call pure sleight of hand, and that's with ordinary cards and ordinary coins and ordinary objects, as much as I love that and it sets me free as a performer because I'm so comfortable around that kind of stuff, I also love using gimmicks. Some gimmicks are just, the goal again is to ultimately inspire yourself to feel like a real magician. So you can be candid with people, so you can be authentic, so you can feel confident and in a sense free. And I find certain gimmicks help me do that as well. And I love those kinds of gimmicks. Gimmicks particularly like SLYDER. Because SLYDER is the kind of gimmick that first doesn't look anything like a gimmick. I mean, it's a paperclip. Second, even though I'm going to show you how you can gimmick this paperclip and why I ended up having to get this very special clip manufactured. And by special, I mean you won't find another paperclip in the entire world quite like this. Even though I'm going to show you how to gimmick it, you're going to find that people never want to examine the paperclip. And why is that? Well, because it's a paperclip. I mean, it's the most ordinary, boring thing in the world. And also, you could imagine something like, say, an eraser, okay, the kind of eraser you would use to erase a pencil, drawings, these kinds of things. Very ordinary item. However, an eraser could conceal something. It's a small, opaque, solid block. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but a paperclip, I mean, look at this. Everything, there's no mysteries here. Everything you can see at a glance. This is just a paperclip. So you're going to find, even though I'm going to show you exactly how to gimmick it, and gimmick it in a very, very sneaky way, you're going to find nobody wants to examine the clip anyway, okay? Now, a little history behind this whole thing. This principle of using a paperclip in this way, essentially as a form of what magicians call black art principle, because you've got an entire area contained within a loop or a circle or a drawing. This area is contained on 365 degrees. And I'll get into that in a second, why that's so important. This principle of using this is a very old idea with paperclips. And I first saw it reproduced, I think, literally from the 1920s. And it was used simply as a newspaper prediction trick. That was it, just newspaper prediction. The problem was, a standard paperclip has a round. It's not flat like this, okay? It's not flat like that, and it isn't designed in quite this way. And so you would find that trying to gimmick an ordinary paperclip that's made of more of a rounded wire, almost a tube-shaped wire rather than this flat stuff, is next to impossible to gimmick the way you're going to need to gimmick it, because there's no point to adhere. You're going to see the special pieces of paper and things and dollar bills. There's no real strong point to adhere it. So first, when I first saw this principle, I thought how wonderful, and then I tried to gimmick an ordinary paperclip and found it almost impossible, and I was immediately frustrated. So I went to Staples and Home Depot and lots of other places to find a paperclip, because I imagined, man, there's got to be a paperclip where I can practically, dependably, because if it's not practical, dependable, what's the point? There's got to be a paperclip, and I couldn't find any in any of the major stores, went to dollar stores, nothing. So I ended up having to have this paperclip, which is an ungimmicked clip at this point. I had to get these ungimmicked metal paperclips especially made for me overseas by the thousands. And it was the only way to do this, but it was so worth it, because the second part of this story, this introduction I want to share with you, is the way my crazy mind works. Even though I couldn't, the idea of using this just with a newspaper, with the paperclip, even though I wasn't able to really make the darn gimmick, it was kind of a pipe dream, the original idea, my mind immediately came up with a billion different uses, okay? So you're going to be able to see how to use this for magazine predictions. I'm going to give you ideas involving maps, foreign dollar bills. It is the best book test ever. So practical. You're going to love the book test you can do with this. I'm going to show you a one-card card trick you can do with this. It's also amazing on any kind of list you can imagine. And I love this, and I'll mention this again on the project, but I've done this with the list of the top employees at a company I go to perform a Christmas party for. I get the top 12, 15, 20 employee names, and I do something with that list. I've done it with a list of groceries. I've done it with lottery tickets. There's so many applications you can do with this awesome range of mentalism effects. And it was because my crazy brain so quickly came up with so many different applications for the principle that I had basically no choice but to try to track down the manufacturer that could help me manufacture these perfect size. And they're great size, they're great to handle, they're great to palm, all these things, and they still look like absolutely ordinary paper clips. So for all those reasons alone, I knew I had to release SLYDER. And since then, all these ideas I've had a chance to workshop and perform most of them, and they work beautifully. And the clip is so easy to use that I can just relax. And you've heard me say this before, probably with other tricks of mine. I love a trick that is so easy, where the gimmick is so, and the motivation makes so much sense that I can totally relax and just focus on connecting with the large audience in front of me or the small couple at the bar table or whatever. So I know you're going to really enjoy SLYDER. I'm now going to reveal to you the secret of how you can set this paperclip up, this ordinary paperclip, which how you're going to be able to set up so it is a super easy to use, surefire, never misses, forcing device. All right, now you're gonna do a billion things with this, whether it's as I mentioned, magazines, newspapers, lists, dollar bills. You can even use a takeout menu. I want to make sure I mention that, a takeout menu from a Chinese food restaurant. I did this not too long ago. Works so well. Drag the clip down. They call stop at any of the items. 100 items on the takeout menu. When I popped open my fridge, there was the one item they had chosen from the Chinese restaurant. Works so well with some friends over. So there's a million different things that you do with this. The first question you're going to ask yourself when doing any of these tricks is, are you going to use the large loop or are you going to use the small loop? Now the small loop represents, of course, a smaller area right in here, okay? And that is the one I often use when forcing a digit on a borrowed dollar bill, is the smaller loop. But if I want to use the larger loop, it's going to work really well in this case because the larger loop is a slightly bigger window, which is nice, people can see it. And it's going to work perfectly for this. What I have is a notepad here, and what I've done is I've written a bunch of different names on the notepad, okay? Which works really well. I love notepads. I do a lot of different kind of mentalism and magic with notepads because they're so down to earth, they're so above suspicion. Okay, so what do we need? We need a clip, okay? We need a pencil. We need a pen. Pen, same ink as I wrote these down, of course. And I took another page out of the notepad. And whatever you're going to be doing, whether magazines, newspapers, dollar bills, whatever, you're going to need to cut a gimmick and fit it into the slide here, or fit it into SLYDER, into the clip. From the same paper or material. So magazine, you're going to need another page from the magazine. Newspaper, same thing. I'm sure you'll follow. Now this may seem complicated the first time we go through it, okay? Because I'm going to do step by step, but you'll see, once you see this, it's very straightforward. And I'm thrilled to say that when experimenting over the last couple of years, because I released this originally many years ago, but experimenting in the last few years, I've come up with a much easier, more dependable way to set up the clip. And here we go. Okay, so for starters, since we're going to use the large window, I'm going to put the clip on the bill, on the piece of paper like this. Okay. Now notice, right now I want you to see one important thing. See the tail end of the large part, the tail end. I don't want the tail end extending past the edge of the page. And I don't want it too far in. And I can see that little piece of tape. Don't worry, we're not going to use that, okay? I want it lined up perfectly with the edge of the page. That's step one. Step two is I'm going to take the pencil and I'm going to lightly trace, okay, like this, because you can use glue stick if you want for this, but I find that tape approach works much better. And for the tape approach, there we go. Okay. So there, I've traced the inside. Very simple. Now, when I cut out this, what I like to do, I'm going to cut it out. And when I cut it out, I'm going to make it deliberately, I'm not going to cut right on the pencil line. I'm going to actually cut a little outside the pencil line, okay? That's going to give my little piece of paper, my gimmick, make it a tiny bit bigger around the outside. You'll find you make, like I said, you'll do this once, and once you do this once, and the other thing is, this is not like you have to set this up for each individual performance. This is a one-time setup. Once I got it set up, I am good to go, okay? So there I am. Now, I'm not going to use the pencil drawn side, just in case the spectator would super close maybe spot it. I could erase the pencil, that's easy, or I can turn this over, okay? Turn this over, and I'm going to write the word Bob. Let's force the name Bob today, okay? So I'm just going to write the word B-O-B on here like that. That is going to be the word. Even though they're going to have 100% free choice of saying stop on any of these names in my little list here in a super fair fashion, no matter what, they're going to get Bob. I'm going to make sure of it, okay? Next, I'm going to get a bit of tape, short bit of tape, okay, clear tape. You could use masking tape or duct tape, but clear tape is going to make sure that even under the closest scrutiny, there's no way they'll spot this, okay? I'm going to take this piece of tape, and I'm going to lay Bob right down on the tape, okay? And I'm going to do it, let's do it in front of the camera here. It's probably easier on the table, but I want you to see, and I've got my fingerprints all over the darn thing, but I'm going to lay it down on here like this, and like this. Okay, in fact, maybe the table will be easier. Lay it down on the tape here like that, and I want you to see I've laid it down here so that the edge of the tape ends at the edge of Bob. Very important. A lot less, it'll make the whole thing a lot cleaner. Now, I'm going to take Bob, I'm going to take the clip, slip it directly onto Bob, okay, like this, and make sure that it lines up, of course. Give me a second to shimmy it down here, to make sure it neatly lines up with the very end, and this is the thing all along, with the very tail end of the big gimmick here, or the big loop, I should say. Like a little bit further down like this, and there we are, okay, lined up. Now, press, press, press. Take my edge of my pencil here, okay, because what I want the tape to do is I want the tape to very strongly adhere, okay, to the back of the large loop, okay? Like this. Now you're going to find too, depending if you put your business card, cardboard, thin paper, however thick the magazine paper, the dollar bill, however thick you might find thicker with cardboard on your business card, for example, you do something with that, you're going to want to bend the clip a little bit. Bend the clip to give a bit of breathing room around the gimmick. You'll see what I mean by that in just a moment, okay? To finish the one-time setup, now all I have to do is take my scissors and carefully cut around the edge of the large loop of the paper clip, okay? And again, I know this is more setup than when you buy a gimmick like, say, a shell coin. The shell coin is absolutely ready to go in a second, but the thing about this is, unlike a shell coin, which typically requires a lot of practice how to use, once you set this sucker up, it is going to be self-working from here on out. There we have it. There you have it. Done. That's it. I've loaded the Bob and lined it all up, and because of the tape on the back, it is permanently. Now, like I said, what you can do is you can take, if you want, instead of tape, if you want to use glue, then all you'd do is cut this insert piece a little bit bigger and put some glue on the safety pin and push it on. But I find with the metal, the glue is nowhere near as dependable as the tape. So now, I want you to see, even though it took me a minute or two to explain this, just want to get this darn piece of tape off my thumb. Even though it took me a minute or two to explain all this, I want you to see that how beautiful this illusion works. Because when I slip this on the piece of paper here, like this, boom, on it goes. I want to make sure, there we go. Now, we are set to go. I mean, look at this. Okay. Now all I have to do is I can either show someone the list, casually, got a list of names here, take the paper clip out of my pocket, so I'm going to slip on this paper clip, and then what I do is I deliberately drag the piece of paper, and we'll walk through a bunch of handlings in a second, but I pull the piece of paper off to one side a little bit. What that allows me to do now is take the clip and safely behind the notepad now, I can load. I can just slip behind the notepad, I can just slip the gimmick on in full view in front of everybody, okay? Or what you can do, which I think works very well, is I'll show you how it can already be on there. I can just have that in the book, like this, okay? It's literally set up and ready to go, but it just looks like a paper clip. So I can start by saying, look, I'm going to open this book up. I've got a list of names here. I don't want you to see any of the names, okay? Because it might control your choice. Let me widen this up a little bit for you. Here we go. I don't want any of it controlling your choice. And I've got a paper clip here. I'm just going to start at the top here and slowly drag the paper clip down. So with this, what you get to do, I'm going to pull this up a little bit too here, is I get to slowly drag this down. And so you say stop whenever you want. And wherever they happen to say stop, let's say they go right to the bottom, I say, great, you stopped me at, they turn, they say, see, they stopped me at Bob. Okay? So this gimmick will slide. Now, again, I just wanted to create and show you how easy this is to do before we jump into the million different kinds of tricks you can do with this, whether it's close-up or even stand-up performance. I've even used this on stage, and as long as there is a spectator with you on stage that can verify that you dragged it down the newspaper or the edge of the book, you dragged it down, they said stop wherever you want, you turn, you say, for the first time, say the word out loud, and they say the word apple, and you say, are you sure you could have said stop? They say yes. You could have them examine the book beforehand. It's just a shocker. I love doing that on stage. So anyway, we've gone from how to make the gimmick, a little bit of tape, a little bit of pencil drawing, cutting it out, and you're good to go. Now let's take a look at some of the amazing tricks you can do with the slider gimmick. Here we go. Grab a couple of dollar bills, $2, $3, $4 bills, a $5, a $10 bill, whatever you want, okay? A little stack of bills and clip them all together with the slider gimmick. Now, if you set up the slider gimmick and what you've done is you cut out, okay, we'll do it down to, say, here, okay? There we go. We'll go with that one right there. If what you've done, see how the 6 is now trapped inside the loop? If what you've done is taken another dollar bill, done the exact setup I just showed you, cut it out and taped it in place, and you had it forced now for the 6, okay? What you can do is you can have $3, $4, $5 bills, okay? You can even ask somebody, say, hey, does someone have a couple of dollar bills? And you can add them to your stack. Then you can fan them out. And the clip is, what I love about this is the clip is there, rather than you having to sort of say, well, use this clip to drag it down casually. It's there to hold all the bills together, which is perfect. You then have phase 1, fan them out, you know, ball bills in here, whatever you want. Say, touch anyone. They touch one of the bills. And you'll find what you can do is all the bills below the one they touched and above, you can remove them one by one from the clip, leaving the clip in place the entire time, which I love, okay? Love the cleanliness. I don't have to take it off and put it back on or anything like that. Though with a bit of practice, you'll see it's pretty easy to handle the clip and have it prepared in such a way and slide it on and off things without ever flashing the fact that you've set it up in some way, okay? So you can do that. But, so you're now down to the one bill. Down to the one bill, you say, look, let's do this. I got it set up here right now, the serial numbers. I'm gonna slowly go down. And maybe what you've done, let's assume here, since we know we're gonna force, let's say we're gonna force the digit 9. Maybe what you've done is you've written a 9 on a piece of paper or a paper napkin. Had someone hold on to that from the very beginning. Nice drama, okay? Notice you can be in a bar and a restaurant, use a paper napkin, and the same thing. You can look someone in the eyes, go, I'm getting a sense. 2, no, I know what it's going to be. Write it right on a paper napkin. Heck, you could write it on their palm, right on their palm with a Sharpie marker for maximum commitment. They hold on to it. Now you've borrowed some bills, you got one of your own bills and borrowed bills, now you just slowly slide this down. You say, I'm going to very slowly past, very slowly. At any point I want you to say stop. And when they say stop, you slowly turn and show that the 1 is the 1 in the middle is the 6 or the 9, whatever. You got it right there. Want to make sure, of course, you got that nice and centered. Sorry, I sort of captured there. That's the 1 they stopped at. Then you can have them open up their hand, and they can show that you were amazingly able to predict the 1 digit of serial number off a bunch of bills that they freely stop at. You turn, have someone say it out loud, and go from there. So I love this. I love the fact that you use a borrowed object. I love the fact that it's simple to do. It involves money that people care about. So there's one idea. Let me show you another idea. Here's another idea, what I call sort of the world's most portable card trick, okay? Have a 3 of clubs. Have a list and have this set up again, okay? Have it set up and notice you'll see here, let's say I've got it set up like this, okay? Got it circled around the ace of clubs. Now that could easily be a piece of paper that I cut out. First I typed on the computer, then cut it out, made sure it was the right size, and taped it onto my slider gimmick. So now, out of my wallet, I can have this folded in half, okay? Literally, or in thirds, sitting in my wallet with the clip already on, right? I can have that sitting in my wallet along with 1 card. Like I said, the world's most portable card trick. No full deck involved at all, right? I can start by saying, look, I don't know if you like card tricks, but I'm going to show you a card trick that doesn't actually use a deck of cards. Doesn't even use half a deck or a quarter or an eighth. It uses 1 card. Full commitment. You put that on the table or have someone hold it between their hands. Slip this out of your wallet here. Say, look, I've got a list with it. I'm going to drag this paperclip down the length of the list. And again, I mean, you can move it right up to the top. There's nothing to see, okay? And then slowly I can bring it down. Say stop whenever you want. Anytime you want, you're going to stop me. And they say stop. They don't even know it's a list of cards necessarily. Now, important detail I want to share with you here is if you've got it set up and you've got things broken down, maybe I'll show you with this list. It's a bit better. I don't have anything set up here on the paperclip, but notice I could have the word milk set up and so. But what happens if I drag it down and I'm sort of here between 2 other words and they see the word milk on the gimmick? It sort of can look a bit suspicious. So what do you do in those situations? Because with this, as you slide it down the magazine or the book or the dollar bill, that same question will come up. What do you do if they say stop? And so that's where I say to them, and I say very honestly, they say stop, and I say, you're actually between two. There's one above and one below. Do you want me to go up or down? Just a teeny bit. You tell me, up or down, your choice. They say down. I say down. You're sure? You don't want me to go up? They say down. I pull it down. And now it's in the position. Now I brought the gimmick and the taped on flap to a position where now when I turn, it's blocking one of the ones below, but it's supposed to be in the right position. So that's a very important bit of script you need to keep in mind. That way it looks absolutely fair, and give them a chance. What I love about this is free choice, right? You drag it down and they say stop now. You say sure. You say, are you absolutely sure? Do you want me to go back up a little bit? Sometimes they say back up, and I go fine. I'll go back up, and I slowly go back up. And they say, you want me to go down? I'll go down again. And they say, sure, go down. And sometimes they just want to be difficult, and it's all the way down at the bottom, and that is fine too, right? So this is one of these effects. Whatever you're going to do here, with whatever medium, printed, whatever you want to do, it's important to emphasize they have totally free choice. I love that. That's what gives this trick for me. I'm so confident about going into it. Okay, so with the playing card trick, of course, finally they arrive at a card. Okay, what do we have here? I went with the 3 of clubs here for the demo here, and so let's say I'm at the 3 of clubs, whatever. They say stop. I say sure. I say turn over the card. They turn over the card, the 3 of clubs that's been in their hand from the very beginning. You took it out even before the list, and now you just slowly show, boom, 3 of clubs, the one they've stopped at. Okay, impossible. Such a clear demonstration, so straightforward, okay? So, what have we done here? We did the dollar bill. We did the world's most portable playing card, or card trick. I love this. I did this on the preview for this. And I've used this a billion times in close-up and stand-up. Because all I have is a list of a whole bunch of, and I just print it off on the computer and then glued it on this envelope. Got a whole bunch of famous names on here, from Barack Obama, Stephen King, Beyonce, Justin Bieber, Donald Trump, Tom Cruise, Taylor Swift, Drake, Robert De Niro, Bill Gates, etc., right? And I've got it set up for Bob Dylan, okay? So, and you'll notice again, what I've done here is I made sure, this is the only work you have to do, is I've made sure that obviously, a nice thing about doing it rather than your handwriting is when you print it out like this, now it's very clear, okay, so they got Bob Dylan. So all I can do here, you can have this already on. Just take it out. What is it? It's an envelope with a paper clip on it. Nothing suspicious there. Bring it to the edge and say, look, I'm going to go down here very slowly, and I want you to say stop whenever you want, when you have the urge. But I should tell you, inside this envelope, I have a photograph of somebody you know, and somebody you know, and somebody we all know. One of the world's most famous musicians is in the so keep that in mind. And in fact, I'm going to be humming one of his, I didn't say him, one of his most popular songs in my head as I go down here, so that it'll psychically affect when you say stop. I trust you. Don't let me down. You slowly go down, 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 down. At some point, of course, wherever you're going, they're going to call stop. Okay? And when they call stop, of course, you're always going to be, no matter where they call stop, you're always going to be a Bob Dylan, because that's the way you set up the gimmick, right? All you do then, at that point, I love this. They say Bob Dylan. You literally come over, okay? You can turn it around if you want, whatever. But you're here. Everybody cares about what's inside the envelope. So when you take off the paper clip, there's no heat on the clip. No one's ever going to look at the bottom half to see it's gimmicked, okay? Away, the most natural thing in the world. So everybody wants to see what's inside here. So what's the most organic thing to do? Is to remove the clip, put it in your pocket, open the envelope. Now there was a list of 25, 30 names on the back of this envelope. You were fair from the beginning. There's nothing else in the envelope, okay? You then take this, open this up, and show Bob Dylan. I mean, nothing else, just Bob Dylan. That is crazy direct mentalism, okay? So that's definitely one of my favorites. I love the visual ending on it. I love the fact that, boom, there's the star there like that. Standard lists, grocery lists, and what do I have here? List of hat, carrot, toothbrush, pencil, shoe, orange, milk, eggs, bread, soup, comb, plate, fork, cup. So you can have this, again, you can either take this out, okay? And you can have someone take a look at that list. Are they all different? You don't have them read them out loud, because the one I'm going to force, in fact, I don't want to double up on this. So let's say the one I want to force is a spoon, okay? And how do I perform this? I take out an envelope, big brown envelope. It's sealed. If I'm at a big show, I say, look, I'm going to have you hold on to this from the very beginning, okay? And don't feel around. I don't want you to know what's inside. And inside is just a big spoon. Okay, so I can perform this for 200 people, where someone in the audience from the very beginning, or two people at a bar, right, is holding on to that envelope. And throughout the show, I can even say, do you have the envelope? I got the envelope. Fred, do you still have the envelope? I still have the envelope. I can play it up, okay? Then I can take out this list and hand it to someone and say, take a look at this. Are they all different items? Don't mention any of them. And they can study them and see that they're all different items. And nobody's ever going to remember if you don't have the word spoon on here. No one's going to remember of the 25, 30 words, household objects, that spoon wasn't on there, okay? So they can examine this. They're holding that in the audience. I take out a paperclip, okay? I say, look, I'm going to slip a paperclip on here, and we're going to slowly go down here, okay? And I'm going to, let's say I've got it set up for the smaller window here, like this, okay? So here. I slowly, they call stop. You want me to go, you're actually between two. You're between two. You want me to go up or down? Up. You're sure up. You don't want me to go down. If you want me to go down, you want me to go down. Okay, I'll go down a few more. Say stop whenever you want. You're sure right there. And maybe the person's actually holding the envelope now in their hand. Okay, so there's a psychic connection between all of you like this. Then you slowly turn, say go ahead, read off loud. They say spoon. You've had the list examined. The envelope was held from the very beginning. They called stop wherever they want. You just take the list, put it in your case, put it in your back pocket. It's gone with the gimmick. Perfect. No sleight of hand, no nothing. No equivocate, no psychological forces, spoon. Go ahead, rip open that envelope. When they rip open that envelope, reach inside, and the only thing inside is a freaking spoon. Great stand-up, great close-up, okay? So that's another way. The challenge here with all this stuff is to make sure that as small as this part is to play it up as big as you can, to make sure the reveals are as large and dramatic as you can, okay? I'm going to talk about that a little bit more a little later on the video here. Very cool. I don't know how, sorry, got a bit of stain up, but a list of items from a grocery store or a hardware store or a Home Depot, okay? So you can have a long list, 5, 10, 15, 20. Go to a dollar store, spend $6 and have 40 items. They're all different, okay? All different prices. Maybe not at a dollar store. You're going to find a lot of similar prices there. But go to a store, buy a whole bunch of cheap stuff, okay? And then have this set up, have your gimmick set up to force one price in particular. Let's say it's $2.29. So you have an envelope. How this whole thing can work so nicely is you've got your envelope. You give a shake. People hear there's money in there. There's some money rattling around inside here. And inside here you also have, and you can take it out of course, you can have it just paper clipped. Again, I love using the clip. It's a totally not suspicious item, a paper clip, but you can also use it like this, so simply. Sorry, you wouldn't have. So you go, boom, I got an envelope here and I've got a receipt from a store, okay? And notice you can have it all set up so that you literally just pull it off and the clip stays on the whole time. There's no secretly pushing it on or taking it off. It stays on the whole time, right? Hand this to somebody, they hear dollars and cents in there, okay? Turn this around, say I'm going to slowly drag it down the length. You slowly drag it down, stop whenever you want. They stop where they want. You say, you sure? They say yes. You turn and you show them it's $2.21. $2.21. And are all the other prices different? They say, yeah, all the other prices are different. $2.21. Open the envelope. They open the envelope and they shake out. Great. You want to either bill or just change quarters, dimes, nickels. Make them add it up for drama. $2.21 exactly. So an awesome prediction again of and the organic, so organic. Store receipt and the change. Love that. Love that. Let's see, magazine. Okay, on a magazine, and again, you're going to find. I'm going to mention this with book tests too. You have to look for the right kind of magazine, because if the words are too far in from the edge, then it's not going to work with the principle of making sure, okay, that the, now in this case, this is Rolling Stone magazine, and it works beautifully, okay? Let me give you a close-up on that. Let's say that we got the word Democratic, okay? Let's see if we can get it nice and close here. See how the one word is perfectly trapped around that, okay? So you can hand out the magazine, okay? So it look like an ordinary magazine? Yeah, it does. About how many words in there? Maybe 10,000 words, 20,000, who knows how many. Then you can take out the paperclip. The paperclip can already be on it, of course, or just take it out of your pocket. I got a paperclip, okay? Plenty of cover here. Again, what I just do is I open my fingers here. Make sure that just with finger and thumb, we're going to slip it on, but these these fingers now move off the clip a little bit, but offer pure cover the bottom half of the clip, right? So I can be here, Just take this and I can flip through and say, find a page with lots of words on it. They call stop at some point. There's lots of words on the page. Let's say they, boom, boom, boom. So you got a magazine, you got an advertisement there. Let's find something. Oh, and I want to remember too. Let's say you don't want to carry around this magazine. Tear off the page. Fold it up. Fold it up. Fold it up. Now what am I going to use to make sure it's really clean and neat in my pocket? Oh yeah, a paper clip. Put this paper clip on here like this. Okay. Boom. Totally portable book test. Just a page from a magazine. Okay. You come out, take the paper clip off, look at the magazine page. Does it look ordinary? Yes, it looks ordinary. It's an ordinary magazine page. And because I know that this edge of the magazine, or I can go, let's see if I can go this side. All I do now is say, look, let's try something here. And I slip this on here like this. And I say, I'm going to slowly go down. At some point, call stop whenever you want. And then you turn around and you've been able to force the one word on an ordinary page of magazine. And again, how you reveal it is everything. But talk about portable. And like I mentioned, we've got the book test. Book test, the book vanished, sorry. Got the book test here. Now, magicians have been talking about book tests for a million years, trying to come up with the best one. Here is a book test. The one thing you do need to make sure, it can't be just borrowed from a library. You've got to make sure that, again, the words are relatively close to the edge of the page. But then you can set it up so that you can force any word in the book and not have to deal with magazine and possible advertisements or photographs in a magazine. This is just pure force any word. Okay, and how you present it is key, as always. Really emphasize, when I'm performing magic and mentalism for people, one of the principles I use a lot is called building. Building the effect, stacking the effect, making it more and more impossible. And I find with book tests and this kind of thing, it's really cool. The notion, I've got a book here, how many pages in here? What do we got? We got about 151 pages in this book. Imagine if you were to go through the book and you would arrive at a page freely. Just whenever your instinct said you arrived at a page, whenever you wanted, okay? And I was able to predict the page number. I think you'd agree that's extremely impressive, okay? Certainly more than a deck of cards that has 52. This is 150. But let's take it, a little bit further. Rather than the page, let's narrow it down to, I don't know, one word. And of course you could say the paragraph. How about down to the sentence? How about to one word from, 40,000 words, whatever, okay? Then you go through like that. If I remember anything else as we go along, there's a few other things I want to share with you in a moment, but I just wanted to give you a sense of and I mentioned earlier too the idea of, I've gone to corporate gigs and I ask, okay, so the board of directors, how many people are on it? And they say 8 or 9 or 10, they're going to be at this event. And I say, I want all their names, I put it on a slip of paper, and then I do the same thing here, I have them read out loud, all the names or whatever, and go from there. And that can be very dramatic. Okay, that can be very, very dramatic to be able to predict the one name of somebody on staff that everybody knows. Okay, and if you particularly find something about the guy, that he's his star sign or that he loves, graphic novels or something, and you can throw that in the presentation, boom. Okay, totally customizable. That's what I love about this as well. I know how my brother and sister Magi think, and I know a bunch of you are going to be thinking, man, I'd love to switch that clip. You don't need to switch the clip, as I've told you, but I'm going to show you a couple of techniques in a second. But as I've mentioned, you don't need to switch that clip because it can often just be already on. If you got a few receipts from a store, it's already on there. No one's going to worry about it, okay? And at the end, nobody's focused. When you take the clip off, nobody's concerned about the clip. Everybody wants to now examine this after the fact. They want to see what the prediction. You're here, you take that off, and did he really predict this? Open up the envelope. The last thing people think about is a tricky paper clip, okay? Even if you've gimmicked the heck out of it, they're not thinking about that. However, let's say you want to switch the clip. You can either switch the clip, you can either have it examined, then switch in the gimmick clip, or you can take off the gimmick clip and switch the gimmick for the ordinary clip, real or the ungimmick clip. Okay, now one way, and you can apply this to lots of things, whether it's the magazine test or whether it's the book test, is you can have the setup and prepared clip already on an item. In this case, we're talking about the store receipt. Okay, you can have it already on there. Push it all the way on there. You can then have the receipt folded just like this. Okay. Boom, you come out, you say, I've got a clip and a store receipt. Have the clip examined. When the clip's examined, you take it back, boom, like this, and say, when's the last time anyone was at the store? And while you're sort of asking a question, you apparently take the clip and just clip it right onto the store receipt, okay? They saw you do that. It's just in finger palm. All I did was pretend to take the clip and clip it on. I kept it just back in my finger palm, just palmed here like this, and then I just opened this up like this and showed, and I mean, look how fairly I can show this piece of paper. This clip's being held behind here. So the idea there is it's already on the magazine, the book, the receipts, the whatever stack of dollar bills. You can have it examined, then pretend it, and you've basically got this into finger palm. So when you go to get the piece of paper or your prediction or your marker to write the prediction on the paper napkin, you leave this in your pocket. So that's one really simple principle, is to have it examined. And then in apparently putting it on something, you've just finger palmed it and left the already gimmick clip in play, okay? Another way you can do this is to fake the whole thing, which I like this. Notice that you can say, I'm going to show you, I've got nothing in my hand, right? I'm going to show you, take this, I'm going to show you something with a store receipt. Go to my pocket, and actually I'm all in a paper clip. So you can make it look like you took this, okay, and put it on the item, the magazine page, the whatever you're going to do, when in fact you don't even use the ordinary one, okay? So you take this out here and it can be already loaded on, okay? So that's an idea I wanted to throw in here. Now, of course, you can switch them out at the end too. Very simply what you can do is you could have this, let's say, in left-hand finger palm, okay? You start with this on the receipt, the magazine, whatever you're using, okay? You come down here like this, you do your force up and down. The whole time it's in this finger, right? Nobody's looking for anything. At the end now, you can pull this off and just do a very simple shuttle pass action and switch that in, okay? So they saw you remove it. This is, again, you don't have to switch this, but if you wanted to, I wanted to make sure I gave you guys options here like this, and you just do a simple shuttle pass like this, and you can hand that out, and you're good to go. It's all it takes. Very simple. Notice, too, that with magazines and books, and even with the one card, you've got actually an item behind which you can hide things. So it's very easy to hide the second clip behind and then pretend to put it there. I mean, you got lots of cover here going in and out of your pockets to switch the clip if you want. Now, there was something else I wanted to make sure I mention. It's already on there. Pretend to put it on. You can have it examined before or afterwards. Oh, I know, this is kind of an interesting thing. What you can do is, I mean, imagine if you borrow a dollar bill and you say, I'm going to predict which of the serial numbers you stop me at. You put the clip on, you go down, up, that super fairest possible. You show they stopped you at the 6, okay? You say, and you reveal they stopped you. Then you take their bills, they put it in your hand. In fact, I just did some mentalism, predicted the future. I'm now going to try some magic. I'm going to try to make the 6 vanish from your bill. The actual serial number vanish. They're squeezing, you wave your hand, boom, they open up, they find there's no 6 among the serial numbers. Now this is making the most of one aspect of this, and that is, it's interesting, because one of the things you have to keep in mind and why you generally want everything examined before you reveal a prediction, not after, all right, is because you've got the word, for example, Bob here, with my original list in my notepad, there is no word Bob. There's no Bob here, right? So, because I don't want to partly go down, have them call stop at Bob, and then show Bob here and down here, right? So there's no Bob in this list, which means have this exam beforehand. No one will ever remember there was no Bob there. Force the name Bob, reveal it. Oh my God, he predicted the future. He's psychic, all these things. But if you want, you can then have somebody tear out the, you can tear out the list, say, look, a little one step further. I actually hypnotized you. I hypnotized all of you. What do you mean hypnotized? To force us to stop at Bob? No, because the reality is, waking you all up, is the name Bob isn't even on this list. That's a freak fest, okay? So you've gone from mentalism to some crazy vanishing of the name, okay? And that's built into the use of this gimmick. That's something, again, this was not part of the original idea of making it vanish when I first came across this principle many years ago. This is something I've discovered while experimenting with this, and I love this additional bonus. So you can have a number of effects all together to really make a full routine with this amazing gimmick. Are you predicting what they're going to do, what they freely choose to do, or are you mentally controlling them? Saying to people, you might think you have free will, but I'm going to try to send you a psychic message and control you to say stop when I want you to. because no one knows the name of the famous person in the magazine in the envelope. Only I know the name of the person. So I'm going to try to psychically control you to say stop. I'm going to look at the list. I'm going to, even though you won't pick up on it, or even though it won't be anything obvious, it's going to be very subtle. I'm going to control your choice. So that's one very cool claim, that you have the ability to control the choice of other people. Or are you presenting this as a prediction? As I get a sense of what you're going to do in the future, I just got a sense of it. I'm going to scribble it down here. I'm going to have someone hold on to that. Okay? And now here we go. And I want to make sure you have a free choice. Where do you want to stop? You stopped here, boom, like that. Isn't it weird? Because I had a sense of that before you even started. So these are two, and notice that people are going to think you controlled them in some way. So you either have to own that, I'm going to control you, I have the ability, okay, even though you're free, or distance yourself from it, emphasize the fairness, and don't get anywhere near the notion of having controlled them in some way. You need to make that choice. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that to particularly younger people who might be doing mentalism with this gimmick for the first time, is you got to kind of figure out which way you want to go on that, I think, okay? What else? I've mentioned, of course, use the clip as a clip. Because I include two of these clips, you can use this one earlier on, right? You can use this one earlier on in something else. You can have someone remove from a notepad. Would you take off the clip? I'm going to try something here. Do something with the notepad. And then later on, switch in the gimmicked one. Okay, so you can, of course, use this as a clip earlier in your set. And that way, again, there's no sense of needing to have it examined later on, and everyone can trust it. I wanted to mention that. How you reveal this is kind of everything. How you choose to reveal. Oh, I wanted to grab this one last thing. Because it starts as a small but extremely fair and free idea. So consider the ways you can make it as big as possible. Whether one of the ways I used to do it is there's an old idea where you take a sheet of newspaper, fold it into quarters, and if you cut off one of the corners, you automatically get 4 big diamonds in the newspaper. So you could force the 4 of diamonds using this list, right, like this. And then rather than saying 4 of diamonds, right, or even just taking out one small card, as portable as it is, and revealing the card, where they had it from the beginning, right, you could unfold a big sheet of newspaper and show 4 diamonds. Ta-da! If you're going to do a show for your school class, or maybe at the work Christmas party, that's a way to make it bigger. Big piece of paper, something written on that is a great way to go. Get a big one of those big sketch pads and do the whole thing live. Say, I want to try something here in a sense, and write the name in front, sort of with the back of the pad to them. Make it dramatic and do it in front of them. Then tear off the page or prop up the notepad against a chair near the back of where you're performing, or have some beautiful girl hold the notepad against her chest, whatever. Do the force, then reveal. So make it big. You could even have it, and I've done this in many different ways, your prediction published in the classified section of your local newspaper. Cost you 10, 15, 20 bucks. But boy, when at the very end they go through the paper and you've circled it and they see that you predicted in the local paper, that's going to get a great reaction as well. So really make the most of this. Let your imagination, this is a self-working, easy to do way to force almost any idea or concept you want. So really focus your imagination on the big reveal. Also, speaking of it being a clip, for those who are familiar with my card magic, you'll know, boom, this is my trick paperclip. Okay, and you'll find out more information about that on my merchandise site, sankeymagic.com. If you go there, you'll find the paperclipped project will be available for you there, and this is one of the strongest, maybe the strongest card trick I do. And so of course I made sure when designing this really sleek design of the SLYDER gimmick clip is that it fits perfectly on this. So either before you do it as a prediction or afterwards, and that's the nice thing about having the 2 clips. One can be gimmicked and ready to go, the other can be on this, and you are ready to go as well. Okay, let's see, we did the classifieds before, and a big prediction versus controlling, use of the clip. I think that is absolutely, can't believe. I mean, when I do a project for my fellow magicians, I really make sure it's not like you're going to get the gimmick and it's 8 minutes and it's you hold it here and good luck. I want to give you all the information. This is a trick I've been experimenting with for years, so I want to make sure I gave you those many years of the value of that information, all my exploration, so that hopefully, unlike myself, most of my awesome magic and mentalism fans, my hope for you is that you have a life that you actually have a life, unlike myself, who spent so many years exploring all this crazy stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for purchasing SLYDER. You know, there's so much you can do with this. I encourage you to, having watched this, is give it a day or two. Think which the ones you're drawn to the most. The borrowed bill stuff, the book test, the portable playing card, which effect, and then practice it a bit. One of the tricks with self-working gimmicks like this or effects is that people will be lazy. Don't be lazy. Still practice it, rehearse it, get a sense of what you want to say, and then try it for somebody who in a low stress situation. Don't do it the first time at the office Christmas party, please. Show it to your wife, show it to your friends, show it to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever the case may be. Show it to somebody in a low stress situation, and maybe they've had a drink or two. That doesn't hurt. And then once you get your confidence up, then you can go public with it and seriously blow some minds with SLYDER.